Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
The number
it.
of accidents on the roads has always been high, and now that there are more and more cars, the likelihood of getting into an accident is only increasing. Naturally, every passenger is interested in choosing the safest place, where the risk of getting hurt is the least. Modern cars are equipped with various safety systems to increase the chances of passengers and driver getting out of an accident with the least amount of damage. These include belts, airbags, head restraints, and carefully calculated deformation of different elements in different situations. But accidents are very different, and not always these measures help, because it is impossible to foresee all situations. However, you can take the most common types of accidents and see which seats are the least likely to injure passengers. These are usually frontal and side collisions. What is the safest place to sit in a car and why? Despite numerous studies and many crash tests, there is still no definite answer to the question of what is the safest place in a car. Much depends on the specific situation. High-ranking people consider the safest place to be the rear seat, on the driver's side, but there is still a risk of side impact here. That's why most researchers agree that the middle rear seat is the best place to sit, provided, of course, that you wear a seatbelt and have head restraints. But even here, there is no protection in the front that can save you from debris or massive structures flying through the windshield. This place is the safest, although it is not ideal either. Much depends on the model of the car and the year of its manufacture. If in modern models, some places are considered safe, then in older models, others, if there are such places there at all. Mandatory safety conditions. Modern cars have a whole set of measures to ensure the safety of people inside in collisions and impacts of various strengths. These are: seat belts are designed to hold a person in place. The tighter they press against the seat, the better. They prevent a lot of injuries that can be caused by hitting different parts of the passenger compartment. They also provide clearance for the airbag to deploy. Airbags were initially installed in the driver's seat. Now there are them in the passenger and rear seats as well. Side airbags are also installed, as well as inflatable curtains that seriously reduce injuries and side impacts. They are triggered almost instantly upon impact, but only if the seat belts are fastened. Otherwise, they can cause serious injury themselves. This is why the alarm system warns you when the belts are not fastened. Because of this, the airbags will not be triggered. Head restraints. Their absence leads to a fracture of the spine at the level of the neck when the head is thrown back after a strong impact. Modern head restraints, thanks to sensors, can move forward and catch the head as it moves, reducing the risk of spinal damage. The design of the frame and body of the vehicle is carefully calculated by the designers and modified based on the results of crash tests. The frame must be able to withstand deformation, and specially designed crumple zones must ensure the safety of people in the passenger compartment. For example, the engine in a frontal impact should go down, not into the cabin. This is one of the arguments of opponents of installing crankcase protection. Read also: penalties for the rubber of the car, inappropriate for the season. These are all passive measures. In addition to them, a modern car has active systems: automatic cruise control, ABS, ESC, night vision system, and many others. They constantly monitor the distance to neighboring cars, facilitate braking, reduce slippage, and do a lot of other useful things. Under the control of a computer. It would seem that this has nothing to do with safety, but it doesn't. These systems make it easier to steer, warn you of many dangerous situations, and help you avoid them. Based on all this, we can say that in a passenger car the safest place should be equipped with all means: belts, cushions, be remote from potentially dangerous places for impact. Scientific research. Over the years, many studies have been conducted on the safety of automobiles, because every year more than 1 million people die in them, and 500,000 are seriously injured. Each manufacturer for each new model conducts computer modeling of various situations, and then dozens of crash tests, where the car collide head-on with different obstacles, with other cars, with trucks. They also test them for side impacts, with different parts, at different angles, against different obstacles, a side impact against. A pole is also included here. Dummies packed with a lot of sensors are now used as passengers. And not only the driver's dummy is used, but entire families, a woman and a child's dummy, is also present. All these tests are conducted in order to identify the safest place in the car, as well as to find weaknesses in safety and strengthen it. Let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of the different seats a passenger can sit in. The driver has no choice, and his safety is the responsibility of the manufacturer. Let's say at once that there is no single opinion of experts. Different seats have different advantages in different situations. Yes, and different design features of all models are different. Front seat next to the driver. Some people consider this seat to be the safest, as it is equipped with a belt and cushions, and the passenger has a lot of space. In addition, it has a good seat with a headrest. But there are other opinions that say that this is not the safest place in the car for a passenger. It has the following disadvantages. In a side impact, such as at an intersection, the danger is not reduced, frontal collisions are. The most common, and the front passenger is more at risk than others. The driver, acting on instinct, can take his side out from under the impact and put the passenger side under the impact. The windshield is a weak protection against flying objects. There are many cases where, even without a collision, a passenger has been severely injured by a brick, iron plate, or other object falling out of another car. Even a piece of ice falling off the roof of another car at high speed is a great danger. Therefore, despite all measures, the front passenger in some situations can suffer greatly. Although there is an opinion to the contrary, that there are a lot of airbags, and you can safely place even a chair with a child. But airbags are far not a panacea. It is impossible to rely only on them. In side impacts at intersections, the front part of the car suffers most often. According to statistics, in Russian road accidents, mortality of front passengers is 10 times more than the rear. Read also, how and what to insulate the radiator of the car in winter behind the driver. The rear seat is more protected from flying debris and different objects from the front by the front seat. But there are no front airbags here, only side airbags. However, in a frontal collision, the passenger has a better chance of surviving and less severe injuries. Side collisions are the main danger here, and the trunk protects from rear collisions, and their force is usually not so great if the impact is made afterwards. The rear driver's seat is the most dangerous of the rear seats. There is a high risk of getting hit when turning left on a busy road if the driver misjudges the speed of traffic. In addition, many drivers adjust the position of their seat by sliding it backwards, so there is less room for the passenger and more risk of fractures. Therefore, it is not the safest place in the car in an accident. It is the second most at-risk seat after the front seat, behind the front passenger. Many people think this is the safest place in the car, including many officials, even high-ranking ones. It's even called diplomat seating. In fact, even here there is a risk of getting hit from the side, but much less than on the left side. In other crashes, the chances of survival or minimal injury are pretty high. So it's not a bad seat, much better than the front or rear driver's side. Back in the middle, positioned in the back in the middle, the passenger has free space on both the right and left side. Therefore, in the event of a side impact from either side, there is a high probability that the body of the car will extinguish it without harming a person. The rear is protected by the trunk. The only vulnerable place here is in the front, but the belts will save you. If they are not fastened, the results in a frontal collision can be most deplorable. There are many cases when passengers simply flew out through the windshield. But if all the rules are observed, the passenger is wearing a seatbelt and has a good head restraint, this is the best place. Here a person is as far away as possible from the epicenter of the impact from either side. When the car rotates, this place is almost in the center, so the effect of centrifugal force here is also minimal. The safest place in the car for a child seat according to statistics. Based on all of the above, we can conclude that the safest place in the car for a child is at the back in the middle. Yes, this is actually true. Of course, the seat must be age-appropriate, well secured, and the child must also be properly buckled in. The American Journal of Pediatrics cited statistics that the risk of injury is 41% in the right rear seat, 31% in the left, and 28% in the center. The front seat is 60 to 80% more dangerous than the back seat. So logical thinking is well supported by the facts. In conclusion, understanding the safest place in a car can significantly enhance your safety on the road. Research indicates that the rear middle seat is often considered the safest spot, as it is the furthest from potential impact zones during a collision. Additionally, always ensure that everyone in the vehicle is properly buckled up and that children are secured in appropriate car seats. By prioritizing safety measures and being aware of your surroundings, you can help protect yourself and your passengers. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.